What's going on, gamers? As usual, the continuity of negative Xbox news is continuing. Yeah, when it comes to Marvel's Blade, we knew Bethesda was doing publishing it. Arcane was working on it. We've seen how much talent they have. But guess what, though? It's on the chopping block. And many people were worried whether this was going to happen or not. Well, you got your answer right here. Are we ready to get into this? Become a member for $3. Leave a tip down below. Like, comment, and subscribe. Support a real channel that knows what it's talking about and hasn't been misguiding you. So it's interesting when you say that Microsoft is shutting down 4 studios. AGM made that Bethesda video and he's trying to tell you, I don't think so. I think they're going to go for anybody that's not making your typical power grab game that sells like 10 million or does very huge like Halo, Gears, Forza, and Call of Duty and stuff like that. Fallout, Elder Scrolls. If you don't have that, they pretty much don't want you. And they're cutting off everything. So are we ready? Because they may be shutting down 5 studios soon. Yeah, Arcane is now on the chopping block. This is why you just do not let this company buy you and monopolize. The FTC was right the whole time. Yeah, you see this right here. Xbox, Tom Warren saying this. Stuff's coming out of Bloomberg too. Xbox is weighing up canceling its Marvel's Blade game. What I tell you about all those programs they're running too, it's all a bunch of lies. They don't care. They're not supporting anything. They want the money back and the profit. Because you know how much it costs to be in license with Marvel? I'm going to prove that. So they're weighing up right now, canceling its Marvel Blade game and shuttering Arcane Studios. Here's the thing. If you're going to shut them down anyways, then why would Blade not go with that? If I told you that the company that was building me Blade, I'm weighing up shutting them down, the only reason I would keep them alive is if you were going to make me an IP that sold like 10 million. Like if somehow Arcane came with their Marvel game like Sony had with Spider-Man and you sold 10 million and over time it sold 15 million. And you're like, oh yeah, we're going to keep on doing that because you can do that. With this trash company, you won't even get a chance to do that because they don't have the vision and the faith. And it's Microsoft. What do you expect? I've been trying to tell you this for a while. They're incapable of making something epic from the ground up and giving a company that actually has the talent to do it and supporting them the right way. Look at what happened with Starfield. I have not seen any growth from Bethesda since they joined Microsoft. I have not seen anything epic. Everything has been worse. I have not seen anything amazing with Activision. I haven't seen anything amazing with Obsidian. Think about it. All these companies, none of them have done anything extraordinary. It's all mediocre and they're all going to get rid of them. Crazy, huh? But this is what's happening. Microsoft could shut down at least, at least, he says, 5 studios as part of big Xbox layoffs starting next week. There could be 6 studios getting shut down. People are saying this is seeming like probably the biggest shutdown in gaming history, layoff history too, in the gaming industry. And it's this company. Why'd you go get all those companies if you can't take care of them? But you did it anyways. You see what I'm saying? This tells you that this company is a cancer on the gaming industry and they should just get out of gaming and go and focus on AI and stick to Windows. They messed that up too. Windows 11 is not what it should be. All the vulnerabilities and weirdness. I mean, you think about all the stuff on GitHub. Who's the subsidiary of them that own them? Oh, Microsoft. Yeah, you can't trust this company. So now we're seeing what AGN has been trying to tell you the whole time. It's just coming to save Xbox, blah, 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 this and that. Blah, blah, blah. Low IQ idiots, I told you. See? I don't know what they're talking about. Either you can see or you can't. Either you know what you're talking about or you don't. Either you're doing good guesswork or you're not. There's nothing wrong with good guesswork. You know what I mean? Because like, man, he's pretty good at predicting and stuff like that. Like you want a combination of everything. And nobody's saying nobody has to be perfect, but at least come with some self-correction. You got to respect somebody that has self-correction because it says a lot. If they never self-correct, then that means that person never corrected themselves back to get to being on the correct path, in the correct mindset. So they're just off the whole time because you lack self-correction. A lot of people are like that. It's like, nah, to me, that's a mental disorder. It's not good. And there's just a blockage. So Tripster, yeah, we've had our beef, says Arcane is gone. Blade will be gone. 5 Xbox studios closing and counting. Yeah. This is going to be the biggest massive layoffs in history of gaming. Microsoft should have never been allowed to acquire this many studios. 100% correct. That time when I thought they should have had Activision because I was mad at Sony, I had to say I wasn't really seeing the way that I should have seen it now. because usually I'm on point with stuff, but I was thinking that Sony needed to get taught a lesson. But actually, what was going on in disguise is that they were just hurting the gaming industry. And they made everything worse. I should have never even wanted to support that, but I did. I'm not going to act like I didn't. You know what I mean? Like I said, AGN's going to be honest about that. The FCC was right all along. Yeah, of course. So they should have never been able to do that for sure. I think that there should have been a blockage, and it would have benefited so many developers. But this is what happened. I sure freaking hope not, man. Arcane is one of the best studios they have. Let them cook. You're saying that, but the funny thing is from the vision of Microsoft, which, what did Michael Pachter say? I mean, we're talking about Michael Pachter. They're morons. I'm going to have to get them to call me. They don't know what they're doing. What did Bobby Kotick, though? He's not a great person or anything. What did he tell Satya? What are you doing here? Get out of here. You shouldn't be in gaming. You don't belong here. You should go try to buy Meta or, you know, or something, but invest in the app. But you don't know what you're doing in gaming. Why would you put everything on an all-you-can-eat buffet? Why would you put Call of Duty on there? Why would you do that? And just in general, like, you're brilliant, but when it comes to gaming, no. And a lot of people that were considered geniuses in real life tried to come in the gaming industry. Out of Hollywood, Amazon, all of them tried, right? Google, Stadia, but it didn't work because there's something more to the gaming industry than you would think. I'm telling you. But Google understands way better now, but I'm saying, like, back then, no. So Genki says, Blade looks really cool. I hope they don't cancel it. I have no faith in this company. Like, I'm telling you right now, I think that they're just going to shut it down. I'm going to prove that here too. Virginia says, genuinely, what is the point of even having a company if you're just going to lay everyone off? It doesn't make sense. Tony says, is all the fanboys screaming more exclusives happy now? Xbox is cutting studios to compensate for the lost revenue now. Yeah, of course. Everything is, give me back my money. I've been telling you that. At least Gears is exclusive, though, swerving the largest addressable living room gaming market and massively reducing income for the group. Thanks, Asha, for listening to 7 Xbox fanboys on X. I'm sorry, that's a good one, because like you're saying, you're missing the bigger picture, and you're also hurting the only thing you have left, publishing. At this point, the company, like I said, I think they may just sell off Xbox. So, you know what's so funny? If you type in Xbox Blade, guys, you're going to see some things right here said by Ecstasis. Canceling a multi-billion-dollar licenses deal with Disney, Marvel, and obliterating 5 studios at once isn't just a simple corporate restructuring. We'll get back to that. Breaking news, Xbox internal collapse escalates to critical levels. Tom Warren just leaked on The Verge that Microsoft will announce that next week the imminent closure of at least 5 development studios. Massive layoffs will be carried out, resulting in total closures, forced mergers, or the spinning off of the affected studios. Multiple projects in development will be canceled to stem the financial bleeding. The leadership is actively weighing the cancellation of Marvel's Blade, the highly anticipated project from Arcane. See? As an extreme cost-saving measure. Extreme cost-saving measure. Because Disney and Marvel are expensive. So it's all about money. Even though this game could end up being pretty good, it actually make a good amount of money. I don't know, depending on the budget. I think the budget, because it's a Marvel IP, probably is a couple $100 million. You'd be naive not to think so. So the game is at least going to have to sell 6 or 7 million. But it'll be like, okay, if you're selling that much, this is good. If you put it on all platforms, if it could have hit 10 million, that could have been insane. And you could have had a Blade franchise or did something else. But of course not. Microsoft doesn't want to try to compete with Sony's Insomniac and kind of counter that by saying, I have Blade now, or whatever. Even if it is multi-platform, what they're going to do is they're going to give up on it and they're going to save themselves a lot of money. They're not taking the chance. Interesting stuff. Or what they looked at, they're probably like, yeah, I don't think this is going to be on Spider-Man's level, according to what Microsoft's probably seeing. So they're just going to shut down Arcane then, because you can't make me my big Fallout or Elder Scrolls or Halo or Forza or Gears type game. I don't want you. I need to make my money back fast, and I'm done subsidizing, and I'm not spending this much money to make it seem like I have a Marvel IP, but it's not going to perform on the level I want it to perform. They're probably thinking that. So canceling a multi-billion-dollar licensing deal with Disney and Marvel means you lose Blade. And obliterating 5 studios at once isn't just a simple corporate restructuring. It's the active and definitive dismantling of the expansive strategy that Xbox has been selling to its users and investors over the past 5 years. And it's not working anymore. You keep going on, you see all over the place. Xbox is considering canceling Marvel's Blade and shutting down Arcane. And layoffs are expect to hit, we got some more information here, July 6th. Interesting stuff here. Looking at people's opinions, we can keep going down. Microsoft just announced Marvel's Blade with great fanfare at the Game Awards just a few months ago as one of its major future pillars. Just look at the Game Showcase. Game Showcase to me is now not what I initially thought because it was deceptive. Yeah. Canceling it now means that the financial high command of Xbox doesn't fall on Asha, but on Satya. 100% correct. That's why I said that anybody that fell for that are the same people that get brainwashed by politics 24/7. Because that's all it was. I tried to tell you that. Who has been taking absolute control of Xbox, overriding any prior marketing promises. I said it, give me back my money. He's the guy that you answer to, right? Let's see how many rats jump off the ship and how many hypocrites climb back on after the reset. This ain't to me a reset. This is a dismantle. And I want to sell or just get back my money with whatever's left over. You ain't resetting to try to start. See, when you tell me you're resetting the gaming industry, that means you're trying to go back to being exclusives, selling hardware, and competing with PlayStation. That's why Xbox came in here. So if you're doing an Xbox reset, you're going back to that. You're not resetting. That's BS. You're shutting down and canceling and destroying. That's not a reset. Like you're gonna start over again and get Xbox going for another 20 years. Man, get out of here. No. No. They're trying to just make back their money. That's it. That's not hard to see. But why close them and not sell them? I don't know how much about the topic. Well, Microsoft's saying if they can't find a buyer, they're just gonna shut it down. That's what they're saying in the other posts. It hurts me to say it, but there's a whiff of Sega in the air. Yeah, but imagine if Sega had Microsoft's corporate pull money. The only reason Sega was in Sega's position is because they actually ran out of money. Microsoft didn't run out of money. They went and grabbed, after a deep failure, that fell way worse than Sega. After they ran out of Xbox funding, they went to get Microsoft funding, extra 100-something plus billion, and failed even worse and made all those studios worse. Sega wouldn't have done that because Sega had talent. They could build from the ground up and compete with Nintendo in a certain stratosphere, not wholly, but at least in certain angles. You see what I mean? And get third-party deals. Microsoft couldn't do that like that. They just had a bunch of money from the beginning. Sega was not like that. That's the difference between Microsoft and Sega. Sega was actually a real gaming company and still is. Microsoft is not. They were only good during the 360 era. But that's why I said, like, when you say Sega, you only mean that their last hardware so bad they got to get out the gaming industry and become a third-party publisher. Sure, but Sega was still way better publishers and developers than Microsoft. It's not even close. You see what I'm saying? And they even helped them get the Xbox and Xbox 360 in a lot of ways going and supported them. But they could never compete with Nintendo or compete with PlayStation like you thought. Only during the 360 era, that's it. Everything else, they messed up big time. Where Sega was going like since the 90s for quite some time. But I think Microsoft could have done a lot better if they would have probably been less arrogant and greedy, but of course not. They can't seem to get away from that. But all in all, I want you guys to let me know what you think about this. Are you annoyed that they're going to be canceling Blade and shutting down 5 studios now instead of 4? And do you think that this is where it ends? No. I wouldn't be surprised if they said 6 studios are about to be shut down the next month here. And more projects canceled. Right when you thought the Sony stuff was bad. Dude, this is way worse. Let's look at the position and the health of Xbox. It doesn't have any health. It's very sick. Look at the hardware sales. Look at Game Pass, it failed. Look at all the lies you were fed. Look at all the price hikes you're getting. And look at how much money this company has. Look at the betrayal that they're actually supporting that makes this industry so expensive right now. AI feed. Because Microsoft is one of the main people supporting that. Look at the political hiring lies and deception. I mean, all these people, man, I remember the whole time they were believing all that. I said, I don't know why you believe in all that. I don't care which side you look at in politics, both. I said, you want to look at the Republican side? Okay. Rich get richer. Poor get poor. You want to look at this side? Victimization, brainwashing, terrorist organization. I'm not going to get too deep in it, but I'm just saying. Either they ain't the sun. That's all I'm going to say. So, yeah, if you can't make things better, then what the hell's the point? Then you just doing this to me. So, yeah, man. Microsoft just goes with whatever side is doing whatever. And you see, watch these companies. As politics changes, the company changes. If it goes back to this, they'll swap that because that's just the way that that's working. And then as soon as you see the other side of politics isn't going for that, they get rid of all of it and they move and adjust. Because it's all about adjusting to the trend and trying to make as much money as possible. That's why I said now on this side, the prices are going up and poor people are getting hit hard because that's the game now. Because you all you got to do is kind of pay attention to that. Though it's still a lot more complicated than that, but that's not being made up because what's happening right now? You're being priced the hell out. So elite society. And I'm not subsidizing for you. But when I was on the other side, I made how much money? Who made the most money? Oh yeah, on the other side of politics. And now I'm coming over here. I'm not subsidizing, though I have 100 times more money than I had before. Nvidia, same thing. And you're building a base here. And yeah, I got more money now though. And we're feeding all the AI. See, they had way more money than they did before, and they're not cutting you deals. Valve has way more money than ever, and they're not subsidizing. Nintendo's the only one because they're always the same. They're not changed by either. That's what they got to love about them. Sony's adapting in a way, but they have to subsidize because they've always been hybrid like that. Sony's still Sony. They just got caught up in too much politics too. You see what I mean? We care about gaming. That's why we're doing this. I don't give a damn about politics, but you have to understand it because if it invades, you need to know how to deal with it. Then you need to see when somebody's lying to you and using you too. And it's like, no. Trust me, don't trust them. They're all con men. You know what I mean? And then you kind of get that perspective here. So that's the thing, man. Xbox is pretty much collapsing right in front of you. And I've been trying to tell people for a while, like they thought it was coming back. How? What was Asha ever gonna do? I'm sorry, but you were not around to actually know what it meant to compete against PlayStation. To what it means to go around and travel, to build studios, to make partnerships, to go to Japan, to do all these things and compete and raise things up and make them better. And be innovative and actually do something that never existed before. And say that, man, she had a good run against Sony in the 360 era. Didn't never do any of that. Came where everything was already just pretty much done and it's just doing a bunch of talking. And gathering a bundle of stuff from all the other people that have been around in the industry before. And it's just telling them, well, look, man, we're going to try this, do this now. You could tell, you don't know what they're doing because what else is left? Not really much else. Just why they say, okay, just let's say we're going to reset. Because what else are you going to do except just make back the money? I'm telling you, anything else, Phil Spencer has tried it. And he had exactly what was pretty much left. And he saw even in like, not even midway, but earlier on in the Series X generation when he was like, I mean, it was over with the digital carryover. When you lose that, you lose everything. We're just going to try to be a third-party publisher, expand our games out, try Game Pass, like because your games weren't selling anyways. Even before Game Pass, the sales were dying in the Xbox One era. They didn't want to continue that. They kind of gave up on that. I would say, yeah, they did. They gave up on that. That was the point of putting everything day one on Game Pass. If you did that, then you're telling me that you're killing your market in first-party sales and you don't care about that. And you're going to start hiding it and you're trying to promote a different thing. And you thought you would make more money and turn Game Pass into a Netflix world. Where now you're making more money than those people because look how much money Netflix is making now. But that didn't work. So you sacrificed your market. Then after that, I'm like, you can't go back to exclusives then because of that. And you don't have the install base and you're not selling. And now in this market where consoles are going up significantly at this rate and may go up again, look at Xbox prices already. How could you build anything? The brand is so damaged. The dumbest thing you can do to me is to go back to exclusives. You're not in a position of PlayStation. You're not in a position of Nintendo. Definitely now when budgets are 10 times higher. So when I look at everything this company does, that's what I realize. You don't understand gaming. It's not that hard, for me at least, to see that. I can say the same for everybody else, but I think it's pretty obvious that at this point, Microsoft should just get out of gaming and give Xbox to somebody that could possibly know what to do. And there's nothing wrong with that. And get back your money. If you want to sell it and you can get that money back like that, do it. Because they don't love gaming. They don't. Phil Spencer did. Though he's made his mistakes. But Microsoft is not a company that I would say I'm looking for something to be loved and supported and growing. Nah, it's actually the extreme opposite when it comes to this type of stuff. Nintendo's the best at that. Sony knows how to build partnerships. They're a hybrid. But yeah, Microsoft, no, just get out of gaming at this point. Let me know what you guys think. Become a member, leave a tip down below, like, comment, subscribe. Remember, guys, Adrian's been trying to tell you the whole time, and now you're seeing everything play out, and now the curtain is down and the cat is out the bag. Later.